Hello, D-Block. Today I will take you back in time to a very important and monumental period in history, a world war and mobilization of various countries. One of the most instrumental parts of the successes for countries throughout this war was the use of technologies, specifically through weaponry. The main reason new weapons and technologies were being invented and tested was because this was a total war, which meant it was an all-in war, where all the leaders and militaries were putting large amounts of their economic resources towards these new weapons to increase their chances for more deaths, which ultimately would lead to, in their mind, victory in the end. Specifically, in this video, I will teach and educate you on how machine guns originated and thrived in the First World War, and how this war, because of this new technology, shifted the course on how wars were fought and strategized from 1914 and out. Like I said earlier, machine guns were created at a mass scale because of the industrialization period at the start of the war, and the race to be the country with the best weapons and a higher chance of winning that war. The first machine gun was created in 1862 by Richard J. Gatling, which was created by the U.S. Navy and used in the American Civil War. It was operated by a crank system, which required it to be operated by 2 soldiers, which only allowed it to shoot a maximum of 600 shots a minute. The first real-powered self-operating trigger system gun was created in 1885 by Sir Hiram Maxim, an American-born engineer who moved to the United Kingdom to continue his studies and pioneership in the field of weapons. It was still a stationary machine gun, but much more effective than the crank system because it was now running off of the recoil bullet rather than the crank system which Gatling had first founded. The recoil bullet invention was monumental for all soldiers and armies because this new technology led to an insane fire rate out of the guns and only needed a single person to operate. Now that we know what gun was being used in World War I, let's begin talking about the effects and new ways the war was fought because of this new war/human killing mechanism. Before machine guns were around, guns as a whole were typically a slow reloading device that were meant to easily kill soldiers. The bayonets and single-loading rifles would typically take over 45 seconds to a minute to load and fire a single bullet. The addition the machine gun brought to war, specifically to speed and range, was uncanny to anything before its time. Wars previous to World War I were more strategic in every single particular battle and how they went about it. Generals and commanders had to plan out the individual attacks each time they were going to raid or attack someone. The new technologies that came with World War I made the higher-up generals from all sides of countries revolve their plans based on what the other country was bringing to the table. Now, with the inclusion of machine guns that were killing soldiers at a higher rate than any other weapon we have seen before World War I, their strategies changed tremendously. Trench warfare was a new battle strategy that I particularly didn't agree with, but was something that inevitably happened with the stalemates that were occurring at both fronts of the war. For a quick summary of trench warfare, there would be 2 sides facing each other, with huge ditches dug out where the soldiers would fire across the no man's land with ditches on the other side. Now, with the addition of machine guns to the war, soldiers who tried to bravely cross no man's land in attempts to gain or make a push at the opposing team would get mowed down by these rapid-firing machines.
It means no man can cross it, all right? This battalion has been here for nearly a year, and they barely gained an inch. All right, because on the other side, there are a bunch of Germans pointing machine guns at every square inch of this place. This is not something you can cross. It's not possible.
The engineers were also able to attach machine guns to planes where the soldiers could get an overview of the battles and mow down soldiers from the sky. Overall, the effect of the machine gun had on the war was massive. There was 21 million casualties in the First War, and a lot of that can be credited to the machine gun. The mass killings armies were able to do when they had multiple guns set up was nothing like it seen before. Thank you for watching my video, and I hope you learned how machine guns originated and how they were used in the First World War. The effects the gun had on this time period will go down in history as a man-killing machine that took many lives.